Intro to Pythagorean theorem.
First, we need to look at a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
A and B are the lengths of the two legs of a right triangle.
C is the length of the hypotenuse, which is the opposite side of the right angle. So, you may be wondering, who invented this genius theorem? This is Pythagoras of Samos. Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher who contributed significantly to mathematics, astronomy, and the study of music. Pythagoras discovered his theorem in a palace hall. He studied the stone square tiles when he was bored and pictured right triangles within the tiling. He recognized that the area of the squares on the side lengths were equal to the square on the hypotenuse. Even though the theorem is named after Pythagoras, it was known originally to the Babylonians during 1600 BCE to 1900 BCE. The Babylonians proved their knowledge of the Pythagorean theorem as they can identify Pythagorean triples. They used the triples to measure right angles and survey land. They used Pythagorean triples as a GPS system. It leads many historians to believe that Pythagorean theorem did not start in Greece, but rather in Babylon. Pythagoras' simple idea has influenced algebra, calculus, and even physics, which makes it one of the most important concepts in math. The Pythagorean theorem helped formalize the idea of square numbers and laid the foundation for solving equations involving squares in algebra. Distance formula. Distance formula is used to find the distance between 2 points. Distance formula is derived directly from the Pythagorean theorem. How it works.
What is distance formula and how does it connect to Pythagorean theorem? Well, we know what Pythagorean theorem is. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A would be the first coordinates and b would be the second coordinates, and then c would be the difference between those 2 points. So now we're going to find that. So the distance formula is kind of the same concept as the Pythagorean theorem. A is just replaced by the x's and b is replaced by the y's. The horizontal side A is the difference in x coordinates, and the vertical side B is the difference in y coordinates. So as you see here, that's the difference. So if you substitute them in, 5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared, which is 25 plus 25, which is 50. So c would equal the square root of 50, and so we would factorize it to make it 25 because it's easier. So when you do the math, c would approximately be 7.07.
As we navigate the coordinate plane in our algebraic adventures, one thing we might want to do is find the distance between 2 points. Luckily, we are well equipped to do this, since we know the Pythagorean theorem. Otherwise, let's just select 2 points in the coordinate plane and draw a line between them. The length of this line is what we are trying to figure out, and in order to get it, we can make a right triangle. This line will be the hypotenuse, and the legs will be the horizontal and vertical line segments we need to construct the triangle. Now let's label the hypotenuse as d, the distance we want to know. The legs can be expressed as the difference between the respective points that mark their ends. This horizontal line segment has a length of x2 minus x1, since it only moves in the x direction. The vertical line segment has a length of y2 minus y1, since it only moves in the y direction. Now we just use the Pythagorean theorem. The square of this leg plus the square of the other leg equals the hypotenuse squared, or d squared. Then all we do is take the square root of both sides to solve for d. We will only take the positive value here, as negative length doesn't make any sense. And there you have it. We have derived the distance formula. Let's give it a shot. Take the points -2, 2, and 2, 5. What is the distance covered by the line segment that connects these 2 points? Well, let's take our x values and our y values and plug them into the formula. That gives us 4, which squared is 16, and 3, which squared is 9. Add them up and we get 25. Take the square root, and that gives us 5 for the distance. This is the same value we would get if we constructed a triangle and performed the Pythagorean theorem. So the distance formula is a generalized way to simply plug in the coordinates of 2 points and find the distance between them.